Hey, so I'm thinking about using an Alexander Technique approach to do a kind of mini course on camera presence. I'm not saying that I'm the best at being on camera, but I think I'm not the worst either. And I think there's a lot that I could share about this stuff. And there's one technique that I use that I want to talk about, riff on, maybe demonstrate here, which is the idea of having the viewer in your awareness when talking to the camera, because there's two ways of approaching a camera. All I can see right now is my screen and Canon lens pointing at me. There's no one else here, right? But I want to come across in a way that's authentic and natural and engaging in a way that if you were talking to me in conversation would feel like I'm talking to you, right? But there's no one here. And I think what most people do is they just look at the camera and think, okay, there's a camera. I'm talking to a camera. Whereas if I remember that there's someone watching this in whatever context, on a phone, on a laptop screen, on a computer, whatever, then I'm talking to them. But it's one thing to tell yourself to remember that you're talking to an audience person, a human, across time and space. It's another to actually do it. So I think what most people tend to do is they try and act as if, okay, how would I be talking if I were talking to a person? And it comes across as a different kind of inauthentic. It's an acted kind of performance for as if I'm talking to a human, which is not what we do in person, at least most of the time, hopefully. What we do in person is our brains clearly recognize there's a human in front of us and we organize ourselves or allow ourselves to be organized in response to that human that we're talking to. And the same is true when talking to a lens, as I am now. I am talking to a lens, and also I'm flashing the idea in my mind of there is a human watching this. There is a person, an awareness like mine right now in this space, being aware of the world. There's an awareness or awarenesses like that watching this video, you right now, and I'm talking to you almost as if through the lens. I'm not meaning behind the lens physically, I mean in a conceptual space, in an intellectual space perhaps, a social part of my brain space. And I'm expanding into that and flashing the idea of being observed by a human and relating to that human. Now, this is a skill related to something I'm calling sub-visualization, which I have in my Alexander Technique course. So the idea that when I say to people in the course, if there were an aircraft going overhead, check that you could notice it, check that you could hear the sound from it. I often say, imagine the aircraft, but I don't mean visualize in the sense of, okay, yeah, it has wings and it's a Boeing 747, and like you can see that I've gone off somewhere to, in my head, visualize something. I mean, there's something beneath that imagery or parallel to it, behind it, something else that's happening almost at the same time, which is a flashing of the idea of aircraft in that space that I'm becoming aware of. And suddenly I orient myself differently because I'm suddenly aware of that space. That possibility is now open to me. And when talking to a lens, the same. I'm flashing, not visualizing, not imagining, but opening myself up to the possibility that there is someone watching this and letting myself be organized by that. And hopefully coming across more naturally rather than performing at the camera. So hopefully that's of interest. If some micro product along the lines of camera presence, how to do these one-take things, or just being on camera more naturally is appealing, let me know in the comments. I think I might add it to the AT course regardless as a module, and maybe add it as a separate thing that I could sell if people are interested, but not in the whole course. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.